Hello and welcome to the lecture on headings. So let's understand how to write headings in HTML. So this is our first tag in HTML that we'll be using on displaying the content. So let's create a folder called headings. Okay, and let's create a file called headings.html. Okay, and let's open that file as well. You can find it in headings. Okay, and we will use our boilerplate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this up, go to headings, and I'm going to paste. And this is the step I'm going to do for every HTML file, because that is the real purpose of having a boilerplate. Then I'm going to say headings. You can change the title to headings. Okay, we will remove the p tag because we're not going to learn about p tag here. We're going to learn about headings. Okay, headings, if you just do a live preview of it, I'm going to close this browser. If you look at the live preview of h1 tag that we have been seeing so far, you observe the font. The first thing that you observe is the font and the size of your wordings. Okay, size of that font. That is it, two things that you have to observe. And anything that you write after the h1 tag, you see how it goes to a new line. Okay, there are 6 heading tags, h1 to h6. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Similarly, we'll change this also. Right, so we have 6 headings. Let's say heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, and you have to observe the font size. Okay, observe the font size, observe the styling of that heading tags, and observe the new lines. There is a new line after every heading. But you see, we haven't mentioned anything about size. We haven't mentioned anything about the color. We haven't even mentioned anything about it should be in the new line. Okay, and the new line is not because you are putting it in a new line. Okay, let's try to do this experiment and see. All right, let's remove all the new lines. Okay, even though you remove, the new line still appears. That's basically Google browser has its own style sheet, has its own specification of how to display the HTML tags. If you want to change those specification, then you basically write something called as CSS, which you will learn in the next section, to change the behavior of how the HTML tag should be displayed on the browser. But for now, you have to observe how the heading happens. Couple of things: when you write headings, you should understand that heading will insert a new line, and headings are of different size and shape. Okay, and why we write headings? Okay, what is the purpose of writing headings? Typically in a page you only have 1 or 2 headings. Typically you have one heading, and then you have 2 or 3 subheadings, that is basically heading 2. And depending on your blog, if you have more headings, you can go ahead and write heading 2s. And heading 3 is basically the subtitle of this heading. Okay, typically 4 and 5, you hardly you will go to that level where you have the heading, subtitle, subtitle, and then you want to emphasize something. You don't really write it as a heading. So think of heading as a table of content. Right, when you write a table of content, till what level you want to go? You have your parent heading, then you have subtitle, and then whatever the subtitle inside that title. Okay, so that's basically the purpose of heading tags, and it's recommended that you have one heading tag and couple of heading 2 tags, and then you can also choose to have heading 3 and 4. Okay, you will hardly reach heading 5 and 6 in most of the HTML pages, but you will be enough to write your headings with h1 to h4. Okay, but still up to you how to want to use it. But the purpose of writing heading is really to write headings for any content. For the blog post, you can write heading like what is HTML, that is the h1 tag. Then you can describe the structure of the HTML, parts of the HTML, the purpose of doc type, and all those things you can define inside your subheadings. Okay, so that's how you play around with headings. Headings are really writing headings for a specific topic. Okay, so remember there are 6 headings, h1 to h6. Depending on h1 is the biggest, h6 is the smallest. Okay, so that's all about headings, and I'll see you in the next one.